It is showtime. That's what the little thing says every time I go live. It's showtime, which I find very entertaining. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me for yet another episode of Ask a Clutter Boss, the internet's best decluttering advice show. I am Jess Marcy. I am your clutter boss for today. Hello in the comments to Hester and Susan and Marie. Good morning, friends. If you have a question and you did not have the opportunity to submit it, please feel free to drop it into the comments and I will circle back to it. But in the meantime, we do have a couple of questions that have come in. So let me dive right in. Hello, Linda. The first question is actually, the first two questions really talk about where to start. I'm overwhelmed. I would like to simplify and be totally content in a neat and organized home. I have medical problems. I'm retired. I just haven't been able to keep up with the regular stuff, let alone purging and organizing. Where do I start? And the next question is, I recently moved from a large house to a small house. We can relate to that. I am like a deer in headlights, not knowing what to do. My closets are so full of junk. I have to get rid of it. I can't let my new home be like this, but where do I start? Where do I start? Where do we start decluttering? That is a really good question. Hello, hello. Hey, Lorene. Hey, Sandra, Nora, Marie, Linda, Brenda, good morning. Okay, where do we start decluttering? Now, I see in the comments here, we have a lot of people in our Clutter Boss community. So many Clutter Bosses in the house. If you have a suggestion for either of these wonderful people who submitted questions about where to get started, I would love to, just hear what you have to say and what has been really effective for you. The spot that we always start is easy. We start with easy. So many professional organizers will give you a specific list to follow. You start with your, like hey, Marie Kondo, I don't agree with this, but you start with your clothing and then you move on to your this and then you move on to that. At Clutter Boss, we do not believe that there is one correct starting point or one correct way to declutter and organize. We do believe the best spot to start for you is someplace easy. And when we say easy, we mean emotionally easy, physically easy. Decluttering is a muscle that needs to be strengthened. We don't start lifting weights with super heavy weights. We start with nice, light, easier weights because you have to get stronger at this process. You have to learn what works for you. You have to gain the confidence in your decision-making skills. Decluttering is about making a lot of decisions, which by the way is truly exhausting. So we want to just start in that, find those easy spots. Some practical areas where you can start decluttering would be like the junk drawer, possibly declutter your socks, anything with holes or no matches, you can declutter those. Some people really love decluttering items that have expiration dates on them because that's an actual date that you can follow if you choose to follow expiration dates, right? You can open up your pantry, find expired stuff, and toss it out. Makeup also has expiration dates on it. So just find an easy spot. If you have like paperwork from the 90s that is no longer relevant to your life today, or the 80s, or the 70s, or the 60s, or the 50s, go ahead and declutter that. Sometimes those dates really, really help. But just start easy and small. We don't need to declutter your whole entire house overnight. It's actually impossible to declutter your whole house overnight, despite what you see on television. So start with something really, really easy. Give yourself a win. Don't push yourself too hard in the beginning because, again, you're learning a new skill. You're strengthening a new skill. And if you push yourself too hard and try and do too much, it's going to feel really bad in the end, not good. And so we want to make sure we're setting ourselves up for success, starting small. If you think you could comfortably give 20 minutes to decluttering, why don't you give 15 minutes? Give 15 minutes and see how you feel then. Another piece of advice that I have is don't pull everything out. Do not go into your closet and empty out the closet. That is, unless you have days and days of time and maybe some help, don't get into a really overwhelming situation like that. How many times have we had people in our communities pull everything out of their closet, put it on their bed, and maybe this has happened to you, this has definitely happened to me. Your project is just taking so much longer than you think it's going to, and it's time for bed. And now you have all this stuff on your bed. You have to move it onto the floor or into baskets. It creates a worse situation. So, really start small and aim for consistency. Small, consistent steps are where to start. If you're struggling, I'm going to go back to these questions here. Um, okay, so I've had a lot of medical problems since retiring, and I haven't been able to keep up with the regular stuff, let alone purging and organizing. This is a real tricky situation. We also tend to really get confused with cleaning versus decluttering versus maintenance. So I'm just going to define those quickly. And cleaning is sanitizing surfaces, removing dirt, dust, and debris. Decluttering is removing items from a space, not moving items from a space, removing items from a space. So actually getting stuff out of your house. And maintenance is those things that you have to do every day to maintain your home, such as laundry, dishes. Decluttering could be considered maintenance, absolutely. But when you like start to break apart, what does it mean to be cleaning? Decluttering is not cleaning. Now, decluttering makes cleaning easier, but I would really focus on if you have limited time and you're dealing with medical issues right now, what is the bare minimum that you have to do every day to maintain your space, to keep it clean? And can you add 10 minutes of decluttering into that? Can you just a little tiny bit goes a long way. But it's definitely trying to figure out and understand the difference between cleaning, decluttering, and cleaning, decluttering, and maintenance can help you have it just gives you a little bit more information to work with, a little bit more insight into what you're doing. I think sometimes part of the overwhelm is we look at it all needs to be done. It all looks like something we don't really want to do. It all feels overwhelming, and we lump all together into one overwhelming feeling instead of just breaking it apart. This is the cleaning I have to do right now. The toilet needs to be scrubbed, the counter needs to be wiped down. I need to do my dishes every day. I need to do my laundry pretty frequently. And can I add in a few minutes of decluttering onto that? And then you're going to start to see some movement forward. I'm going to go over into the comments here and let's see if we have some advice. Oh, Rabina, hello. Brenda, hello. Nora, hello. Small area first, Nora says. Yeah, small area first can give you a nice sense of accomplishment. Tiny, tiny bits. Linda shares, I have found the kitchen is a good place to start building your decluttering muscles and skills. I totally agree. If you can create one functional space in your house and it's your kitchen, it will have a domino impact on the rest of your life. You'll be able to cook more easily. You'll be able to get yourself a glass of water more easily. Everything is going to be easier. So, kitchen, bedroom, those are like the two spots that I think if you can make them functional, it really can be helpful. Good morning, Denise. Marie says, I started by getting like things sorted with like. Then I could see the abundance of one category, and it was easier to let go of some of it. I got to keep favorites in each category. This is a really important point, too. If you're overwhelmed and you're holding yourself back from decluttering because you know that you want to declutter your umbrellas, but you have umbrellas in many different closets, in your car, in your garage, under your bed, wherever they are. So you're like, well, I don't know if I want to let go of this one because I'm not sure if I have this other one. Pulling like items together can really help. If you see that you have 45 umbrellas because you've gathered them all together into one spot and you really only need one, maybe two, then it's easy to make decisions to let go of all the ones that you don't love the most. Let's see here. A spam person is calling me. Declined. Okay. Paperwork from the 2000s. Yep, that's a good one to let go of. Brenda says the timer got me started, and I love this comment because setting a timer can be a big motivator. We think it's going to take longer than it does. I will be more inspired when that timer goes off and I want to do more. It's like an interesting thing. I have this rule of 3. So projects that you think are going to take a super long time, like making a phone call, doing the mail, like sorting the mail, unloading the dishwasher, those tend to take 1/3 the amount of time you think they're going to take. But big decluttering projects, if you think they're gonna take an hour, they're gonna take 3 hours. If you think they're gonna take a day, they're gonna take 3 days. So if it's a routine task, it will probably be faster than you think it's going to. Do it right now. If it's a big decluttering project, it will probably take longer than you think it's going to. So I would make sure to break that down into smaller pieces. And if you finish early, that is a win. And if you finish and you have, motivation to keep going, that's great. Just always be checking in with yourself, because sometimes you definitely hit a wall, and then it's good to be able to go for a walk or put the project aside. Let's see. I have sentimental papers from the 50s. Yeah, so sentimental papers and paperwork are different. So here, when we talk about papers, it's really important to break this down into, I mean, we can break it down into a lot of different categories, but the two major categories of papers are household papers and memorabilia. We tend to mix in a lot of memorabilia into our regular papers. So if you're working on paper and you come across something that's emotional, that goes with your memorabilia, and memorabilia is sorted generally last. Um, Lax, the timer method. Set a timer. See how much you can get done in that amount of time. There's like this 5-minute rule that I love. If you can do it in 5 minutes or less, do it right now. One of the things that I used to do was think to myself, "Oh my gosh, I don't have time to complete an entire project, so I'm not going to start anything." Let me know if you can relate to this. Instead, I have this window of time. Maybe it's like 20 minutes in between dropping off one kid and picking up another kid, or two different tasks that are going on. Like, I can't get anything done in 20 minutes. Like, I can't do a whole project, so I'm not even going to start. I started to shift my mindset around that and really challenge myself to see how much I could do in that amount of time. And that makes a huge difference. So instead of, I can't get through an entire project in 20 minutes, can I do a small section of this? Can I unload my dishwasher in 5 minutes or less? Yes. Yes, I can. And now I always do my dishwasher as soon as I can because it's 5 minutes or less. Okay.